Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Tech Productions. Today I'm Bancroft, being joined once again by Jake, Jason, and like always, Fluff.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, fellas?
Jimmy threatened me. He's not here today. I told his mom.
like always, there's buttons down below. Feel free to click them. They're there for a reason. But today's matchup, I'm bringing back Android 18 from set 8 with the field card, which is pretty cool, Android 21 schemes. And I'm going up against Broly, which Jason is piloting today. It's us, so let's take it away.
Yes, sir. So I pretty much start off with a pretty decent hand. From what I remember. Because I don't even remember using the Planet Vampa at all this match.
That always feels good as a Red Broly player, too, when you don't have to really commit that energy to just playing the field card. And you can use your activate main on your leader to go get something a little bit more impactful.
Yeah.
So this was an interesting matchup only because I had to play reverse. I didn't have my mat on me this weekend, and so I just borrowed Fluff's right after he got done playing because he was on camera right before me. And I just used where the boxes told me to put my cards, and I was a little thrown off, but it works out. So we've seen Broly a lot. We kind of know the function of it, and in this particular setup, I don't know what secret you were playing, but was this the same list you used previously? I think 2 weeks ago we were on camera, or have you tweaked it since then?
Oh, no, it's pretty much identical.
Okay.
I think I took out a couple of extra cards, if anything.
Nice. We had gotten the promos, the 2-drop, I think it is. It might have been a 3-drop. I can't remember. The Pincer Attack 18, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And so I decided to make the deck based around Android 18. And normal way of making a deck, it's like a couple hours before the tournament. And I was going to make it blue-green, but Fluff convinced me going mono-blue just because of the way it was looking so far. And that's why I incorporate 2 intersecting fates, because I have a lot of ways of searching for Android cards, but not looking for particular cards that I want. And so having those intersecting fates was just kind of nice because it allows me to have it in the gate if I need it. Has me a combo. If I need a combo a big card off, I can to stop an attack or whatever I need it for. It's there for the energy wise. But not only that, but I can search top 2 cards from the deck to look for anything specific. In this build, I do play what's that extra card called? I can't remember. Justice, Hope for it's the 4-drop that plays a 5-drop.
Rebirth of Justice.
Yes, I played. Yes, but Pincer Attack 18 requires you to also get rid of a clone token if you want to give the double strike with the Krillin that she pulls. That requires getting rid of a token. So I found myself less likely to play that 5-drop card because of that, because there was never enough tokens on the board if I got to a point where I could play it to be super effective. Don't get me wrong, like still potentially getting someone to mill 8 to 10 cards isn't bad, but in the past with these decks, you've seen people just amount a ridiculous amount of clone tokens and then just swing and mill 40 cards, 30 cards, you know? I never got to that point, at least to the point where I was like, oh, if I play this, I could get game right now and then. And I found myself more going a wider path with this deck.
I think that the mill strategy is mostly been like people have kind of mapped and tested out that it's probably better with 21 because she revolves and involves a lot less expenditure of clone tokens.
Yes.
Compared to 18. But when you were like spilling your deck out and you were kind of like, okay, this is what I'm thinking, and we're just sitting there looking, and I wasn't really pushing you away from multicolor, but you were kind of just on your own, kind of cutting this. And I was like, dude, you have like outside of the green blue checklands, you were only running like 3 blue green cards.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you should really just cut all that stuff and it'll make like your fitting everything else in much easier and more consistent. overall. And I'm glad you went with it. How did it feel?
I loved it actually.
Yeah.
Jimmy mentioned in I think your matchup with him, where the thing about me week to week is that I just bring a deck that no one knows what's going on or what to expect, and I still do decently well with it because of that element of surprise. And because this deck, I can give any 18 any moment a double strike. I have two different unisons that have double strike potential. Like, I have the ability to just push without having to waste too many resources from my own hand.
Yeah, seems good.
And here I've established the unison by using the activate main to pitch a token on my opponent's side of the field, and I immediately did +2 from this point on. You can no longer swing with coin tokens for your next turn, which is pretty nice. And the unisons are already 3 costs, 3 markers. So now if you want to, for going against a blue deck, now you have to hit it twice. Now if I would only pay 2 energy for it, it would be at 4 right now, which is incredible. And because this leader's a draw leader, I wouldn't just self-awaken using the activate main, pitch the other coin token instead of playing the 16, because I've already now procced the unisons effect, so I know I'm safe from the coin token swinging at me. And now I'm just in a safer spot. Like, if he wants to swing his leader at me, he now has to combo a card off compared to just swinging and no combos.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. At least until I get to my awakened side.
For
Because
sure.
I get +5 on the other side, but...
Jason, you were notorious for Brawly at the shop. And one of the things that always kind of amazes me about the way that you pilot is it seems like always on your turn too, always. It doesn't matter what deck I'm playing, you will take me down to 1 life.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good at that because I pretty much just if I don't have any negates, just let you attack and attack me and refuse to awaken until my turn 2. That way I ultimately have 4 energy that I can use. And then once I get 4 energy available, because I'll use the first 2 energy, then awaken, untap 2, and I got 2 more energy just to keep going.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess I'm going down to 1 life. Let's see if we can try to win on the crackback.
I have to.
Yeah, I have to win on the crackback or I'm dead. So,
yeah.
So, and I didn't call it earlier. I forgot to bring my tokens, so we're just using my other deck as the tokens. In case anyone's curious where those same sleeves are coming from all of a sudden.
I'm going old school.
Yeah. I realized when we got to the shop, I was like, I didn't bring none of my tokens.
yep.
Oh, well. So, one of the great things about Android 18 and 21 leader is that they play this field card. And for those who aren't familiar with the field card, the first battle card you play, you cannot attack with that card. So here, Jason's trying to, do one of 2 things. Like he mentioned earlier, his turn 2 plays where he likes to awaken a lot of times. So he plays the 1 drop, go for the crit the life. I'm like, hang on, I got a counterplay for you. And this 18 reduces her play cost by 3 if you have a unison in play with I think it's specific cost of 2, if I'm correct, or 2 markers and more. It's one or the other. And it's a blocker as well. And because I played her first, I was able to play Trunks second. And just keeping him from playing anything to take a life from.
Lately, Bandai has been really good about printing these cards that go back and support older archetypes in kind of subtle ways. Even in Cross Spirits, there are a couple cards that support things like Revive Coup and just some older strategies like Red Yellow Beerus just getting random support out of nowhere. And I think that's great for the game.
I was just telling Bancroft after cracking our case of Cross Spirits tonight that I think I'm going to revisit like set 6 hit. one week.
Yeah, with the new 2-drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing seems good, right?
It seems really good.
So yeah, Cross Spirits brings a lot of exciting new stuff in the form of older archetype support. But even more exciting is presumably what's about to happen on Broly's Awakening turn. I know I like to really turn some cardboard sideways whenever I awaken playing Red Broly. So what's your thought process going into your Awakening turn here? Assuming Bancroft's turn ever ends.
Yeah. If you've seen, he actually stopped me from self-awakening on my last turn. So I get to a point where I pretty much go my normal speed. Like I'll attack as much as I can, use as much energy as I can to awaken, and then that way I get my energy back. And then at a certain point, I realize that I have no negates in my hand. So once I get to my next turn and I have to take my energy to self-awaken, with as many field cards as he has on his board, I know that I either had to go ham and try to get him on my turn, because there would be pretty much nothing I could probably combo maybe 1 or 2 attacks, and that would be it, and he would still get me. So I was just like, well, I'm going to see as far as I can push him.
Yeah. And I'm actually targeting his battle card right now and not the leader. I'm just trying to get rid of it before he awakens. Because if he would be awakened, then he could use his effect to just cycle no one to the board. So I'm just focusing all my attention onto his 3-drop and just trying to keep it from keeping it. I'm going up to chain. That's the right word. There we go.
Yeah. And that's why I put strats in there. It kind of help with that.
And I think I push a little bit on your leader, and I try to. I know you're not going to. You typically don't awaken. And so here I'm just going to try to take advantage of that. And I'm just going to swing these 15k battle cards at you. I think I go to try to combo with the Krillin, but then I stop myself because you don't have any tokens, so its effect won't matter.
Yeah. Honestly, I actually think I do awaken on your turn. If I remember correctly. I thought it was because you were going to keep swinging.
Yeah, I keep on swinging. I have a couple more cards I can swing with, and then you say no gate in this one, so I just combo to 14. Yeah, so I force you to awaken then.
It's got to feel good on Bancroft's side to make Broly waste their awaken on their turn.
It does.
Instead of using the awaken for aggression.
Now, granted, I still had 2 more attacks after that, so I'm like, if he wanted to hold off, he totally could. But then you would be at potentially, unless you had no cards unless you combo every card off your hand, down to 1 or 2 life at that point.
Yeah. If I'd known you were going to just pass turn, I would have not awakened.
I only passed turn because you awaken.
Yeah.
So here you get a chance to play your 1-drop, and I'm like, cool, I got no counterplay for you, you're good to go. And you showed that ball, and you're like, dang it. But I think luckily you had 1 in your deck, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the last one.
Awesome. So lucky.
Which allows him to get the 5-drop I think you pull for.
Yeah.
And truth be told, during this turn, I think I'm in an interesting spot because you could go to the 3-drop for free, go into the 4-drop, and go to the 5-drop. And you can swing with the 3, the 4, and the 5 because you've already played a battle card.
Yeah.
So I gotta choose carefully, like how my plays are gonna be from here on out. What do I choose to negate? Because your leader has crit right now because you have a Broly on board. And I still have a blocker, and I think I might block this attack. Because right here I'm trying to map out, like, when are you getting a crit and stuff like that. You know, can I take the first couple hits? Can I not?
Yeah, the one thing about my Broly deck is it actually your field card did not hurt me at all.
Yeah.
Because I never swing with the first, like the one drop really.
Well, it hurt you on turn 2. That's about it. Because you couldn't safely go into the 4 drop and swing with it.
Well, I think that was probably more attributable to your counters
For sure.
than anything else. But
yeah, because I was on my turn 2. I was trying to get it down another one drop. Because I don't know if you noticed, the last couple of games I played, I don't even play the 6 drop usually. I go 2 chains in with Broly. So I'll go up to 4, and then I'll start a new chain.
Just completely rip out somebody's hand.
Yeah. And Broly could do that. I mean, here you're giving a double strike, and I was like, okay. I think this is where I started kind of picking up on, wait, I know you have a 4 drop in your hand. And I was kind of curious why you did that so early.
It was because I realized that at this point, it was either all or nothing because I couldn't survive my next turn with 2 life. None negates in hand.
You're currently at 3 life, actually.
Is it 3?
Yeah.
Okay, looks like 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, if you feel like you can't survive the crackback, it's better to play to win than to play to not die.
Yeah.
And with Brawly specifically, Brawly just fizzles at like the turn 3, turn 4 mark. It just fizzles where either they run out of cards in the hand or they run out of actions.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I really feel like that is kind of the thing that is keeping Broly out of being like the best red deck right now, is how much the deck actually fizzles. So against any deck that has any type of like immediate defense against the aggro turn can just crack back on the Broly player.
So 2 things have happened. Because of the way he was pushing, you all saw that I had asked him how many cards were in his drop, because I'm kind of expecting a overwhelm coming pretty soon. And this super combo mixed with this Pincher 18 is such a good thing because I could bottom deck the Krillin, and then when I combo with the Pincer, remove a counter, a token, and I immediately just grab the Krillin from the bottom of the deck and just shuffle.
Yeah. When you explained that combo to me when you were kind of building this deck, I was like, holy crap, that seems really good. Like, maybe a little gimmicky, but if it ever goes off, it's a decent momentum shift.
And that Krillin itself was I paid the energy for the auto and the Krillin to play it instead of the 18 because I wanted the blocker on the board to protect this first swing. And here I'm like, okay, what are you doing? You're swinging again. You're tapped out. I'm so confused. Like, is there a way you could do an extra damage to me without me knowing it? Like, is there a card I'm not aware of all of a sudden?
Honestly, I was trying to play my super combo just to see if I could pull anything last minute. And then I didn't. And then I was just trying to take you down to 1 life.
Gotcha.
That was my goal. That was my goal, was to get you at least to 1 life before the game was over.
And I think I just take it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I was like, if you have some form of weird trump card that I'm not familiar with for some reason, I'll take the L, you know? And you pass turn, I'm like, and I was just so confused.
That was my goal. Confuse Bancroft, because his decks are always confusing, so.
If you can confuse the confuser, I think you can call that a win.
Yeah.
I was gonna argue that they're not confusing, but they're only not confusing to me because I get to listen to Bancroft talk himself into playing a deck for like 3 hours every day or every weekend. So like I get like this is the 300 card deck that I'm leaning towards. Now I got to cut this 300 down to like 75, and then that 75 has got to get cut to somewhere around 50. So like I get to hear that whole mind thought. Going into it. So, but yeah, I would absolutely agree. His decks are really weird.
In here,
I mean,
I use the Lucius effect.
It's always fun to play against you, Bancroft, because usually you always play something different every weekend, and it's always pretty interesting to see what you're going to do.
I appreciate that. I like to mix it up, and like I said earlier, I think like I said, Jimmy's the one who called it out beforehand. It's just the element of surprise in a sense. Like it's never. I try not to bring the same deck, and that kind of throws up the idea of like, what the fuck is Bancroft doing today? You know, what monstrosity did he bring? Is it actually good? Is it jank, or is it just some curveball that we weren't expecting?
Yeah, plus I think I'm always kind of hoping that maybe you don't know exactly what your deck does completely, so maybe you just like forget a step and I'll win.
So I didn't call it out. I did skip one step way early on. I could have just played the 1-drop 16 instead of playing Intersecting Fates to slow you on your turn roll 1 so you couldn't attack with the tokens. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot I could just done that. You know what? It's okay. I'll potentially get this Awaken on turn 2 instead.
Yeah. It definitely went in your favor.
It's definitely a challenge to take a new deck every week. Because of the very reason that you just said. You know, it's oftentimes you will catch yourself in a situation where you might not know, or you might not remember, or you might not see a line of plays that could possibly have won you the game otherwise, where if you stand with a deck and you're constantly repetitious with it, you learn those little ins and outs and those little nuances within the decks itself.
Because it was what a couple of weekends in a row where you went up against me and it actually forgot something or misplayed a couple of your cards, and I ended up taking the win from you.
Yeah, there was my first time bringing the Future Trunks or Future Gohan deck. I can't remember if I was swinging or if you were doing something, and like as soon as I did it, I was like, I just messed up. And you're like, what? And you won the game. You're like, what do you mean you won the game? Or I won the game. I'm like, I'll explain once your turn's over with where I messed up and what I could have done differently. And I just didn't realize until literally after I made a play. And it happens. And like we've all said, that's why we do enjoy kind of going back over our matches to kind of see those mistakes or see those lines of play that what otherwise wouldn't have been noticed. You know, getting that second look does help us out in the end, and hopefully it helps you all out as well. So keep in mind, hope you all enjoyed this video as much as Jason did. Well, Fluff does the outro.
I just got to say, while you guys kind of have a look at the floating videos here that maybe you haven't seen, Bancroft has put in a couple weeks and a lot of time with that Future Gohan deck. And I got to say, now that he's figured that out, that's one of the most difficult decks to play against, especially when he's piloting, because there's just so much that happens and he sequences it correctly now. So stick with the deck. If you're not getting it, stick with it, practice with it. Read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. We like to look stupid, not let you guys look stupid. As always, Fluff out.